ready for another lesson?
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz, and on today's episode, we'll be reviewing the one, the only, The Return of the King, Lord of the Rings, that is. But before we get to any of that, I'm joined today, of course, by Nazgul Nathaniel Gingrich.
What up, folks? I am Nazgul Nathaniel. I ride on the back of my...
Don't get in the way of a Nazgul and his prey.
Yep.
You give me a Nazgul like screech. What's your best Nazgul screech?
Yeah.
I don't think I could go that high.
But I'll take it.
Yeah, I don't know if I can go that high. Unfortunately, that's for after I pass to the other side. After I let my ring of power corrupt me, you know.
I see.
How good would it be if I just had a Nazgul screech on like sound deck ready to go?
On the soundboard,
Yeah.
just on, ready to go. I'll prepare you next time.
Thanks, bro.
You're not school in the
Appreciate it. If you
or
could,
maybe the Hobbit trilogy.
if you could just start sending me all of my soundboards I need ahead of time, so I can just get the deck loaded up and ready to go. Just
Of course,
give you a little more work to do.
Right. Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm good. How are you guys?
Good.
Doing pretty well, man. This was it was a fun watch, but it was a grind.
Mm-hmm. We have completed a bit of a journey here. Have we even talked about where we're watching this week?
Huh?
Did we introduce the movie we're talking about this week, or did you just start introducing me?
No,
Yeah,
I introduced it as the what did I say? I don't remember exactly, but I said Return of the King, Lord of the Rings.
Best trilogy of all time, man.
Ooh, big call.
Are you going that far?
No, I don't think I'm
Bit of
taking that
sizzle.
stance, but a lot of people would. So I wouldn't.
Tyler?
argue with it.
Certainly an effective.
What?
Are you going that far?
Best trilogy?
What? Sorry.
Best trilogy of all time?
This is a big review, really.
Yeah.
I'm taking the over on that. Yeah, for sure. I figured.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of good, solid trilogies out there, and there's still more to come. Like if we think about like where Dune might be somewhere down the road.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
But as far as how epic this thing is, and truly epic, there's a lot of people in like the reading world who don't like when people just use epic as like a common word. If you really look at how big this thing is, and how true it actually stays, and it's got one of the biggest fan bases that will just stand by this thing relentlessly from a book standpoint and a movie translation. It is and it will go down in history as one of, if not the best trilogy that has ever graced our presence, at least in our lifetime.
I think I don't think I could argue with that. Also joining us today, of course, it's Cave Troll Tyler Browse.
They have a cave troll.
Cave Troll.
They have a cave.
Did we get Cave Trolls in the previous ones?
Cave trolls in the first one. That's actually what my quote was just from.
Tyler, let me hear your best cave troll.
I don't even know what kind of sounds they make, honestly.
I mean, you gotta go for it. Just
I feel like there's a little Wookiee in there.
where you're. I'm with you.
A little bit, maybe.
Go where
It's a little
your heart,
orcish.
your artistic interpretation takes you. There you go. I like it.
I love it. Running off the squadron, of course, gonna have to give his impression. It's a big Balrog Blake.
I don't even know if I got that one in the bag, fellas.
That was fucking lit.
He's the big flame cow in the first one.
What are the and I already forgot my my man's the tree people. What are the tree people called again?
They're
Ents.
ants.
I love those guys.
Yeah.
In
Was kind of disappointed not to. Well, I guess they're in this one, but they're
They
not
are.
like in it.
Yeah, not as much. Honestly, I was very upset by that, fellas. Not gonna lie.
No,
Yeah, I
I,
was
I,
hoping
I
to
always
see
love
it.
the line reading it when he's like, "I'm glad you've come." Like he takes a really long. He draws out the first bit. It's almost like the shit, a little bit too.
yeah, for the wire. Absolutely, man.
Uh,
But good, man. I'm feeling all right, man. How you
yeah,
doing, Adam?
good week. I'm doing all right.
Yeah, not bad.
Doing-
Productive.
doing all
Productive.
right. Yeah, I'm back to school this week, so it's kind of like and back to school for
Only
the
a
last
few
time
weeks left,
though.
man. You gotta
Oh
cherish
yeah,
that, my boy.
Don't say that too
yeah.
early.
I am definitely doing just that. It's just crazy how fast this year flew by, man. I like knew it was gonna fly by, and I tried to like enjoy it as much as
Yeah.
possible, slow it down, but there's no slowing it down. Time just
Feels
flies.
feels very recently that you were telling us that you feel like your senior year was going to fly by as we approached it over the summer. I think we were talking about
Yeah.
that on the pod.
And now we're here.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's
Time
fun by
just-
it.
Time waits for no man, as they say. I remember
Correct.
meeting Adam, and he was in high school.
Yep.
That's like
Senior
the
year.
next crazy step when you
Yeah,
get
different
past that.
different
Holy
senior.
shit, man.
I'm all
Yeah.
the way here. I saw Bill over break when I came home. I was talking to him about that. I was like, I mean, I bet it's wild for you too, just because like everyone at the store met me when I was a junior, senior in high school, and now
Sure.
I'm graduating college. Like it's a long time. It doesn't feel like it,
Yeah.
Pretty crazy to see your kids grow up.
Right? Yeah. Well, let's just get right on into what we're watching here, guys. I'm gonna kick it off as usual with Nathaniel, because he's usually got the most poppin' list.
Oh man, well,
It's a lot of pressure now.
What's been popping has been I got to maybe the most box office movie of the week, which was Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
I also got to that.
Dude,
I actually heard that was pretty good. I've seen a lot of stuff pop up on YouTube and a few Reddit forums I'm on.
Oh yeah, you want to go review it, Blake?
Yeah. I think I'm fantasied out, fellas. Between
Nah,
fucking
I
8.5
understand.
hours of watching this movie.
Speaking of reviewing, I'm gonna say this now before I forget, but Caralia has sent me the trailer for the new Barbie movie with
Yes.
Margot Robbie and Ryan
Ryan
Gosling.
Gosling?
is
Yeah.
that
And,
required viewing
she-
for the pod?
Yeah, she's pulling the one card that she has being my fiance, and she says this has to go on the podcast. So when it comes around,
I'm down. I'm down.
just letting you guys know,
You don't have to
Gonna-
convince me.
gonna have
Ryan
to be a thing.
Gosling and Margot Robbie.
I do like Ryan Gosling. I think I'm in.
Yeah, and it's Greta Gerwig, right?
It is.
Yeah, she writing or just directing?
I know she's directing. She may be writing, or they could have gotten like some other new hip lady writer for that.
Maybe.
Or just use
But,
Greta Gerwig if you have her to do it. I hope they got Greta Gerwig to write it.
Yeah, she's. I mean.
Yeah, they
what
released a
this
bunch of
lady-
publicity stills and character sheets, and I think a trailer today or a teaser. We haven't done
Mhm.
trailer talk in a while. I didn't watch it, but I did watch the
We have
trailer
not.
for Blue Beetle.
I did
also
not watch
watched
that trailer.
Sick.
Yeah, it looks.
Yeah, that
Is
somehow
that
came
Marvel,
across on
DC?
my-
Is that
my
just
feed too?
miscellaneous?
That's DC.
Okay.
The only thing Rob had sent me this, and though for those of you that don't know Rob, he's a comic bookie as well. And
Hi, Rob.
when Injustice 2 came out, Blue Beetle, like I knew before it released, I was like, this is gonna be my guy. And I put the bricks on everybody. So he's by far one of my favorite DC characters for sure. And I watched the trailer, and my only criticism that I had for Rob was that I hope that this stays more Shang-Chi-esque, where there's a quite a bit of seriousness and good fighting, and you do get some of your periods of humor. And I kind of want them to stay away from kind of the more childish route that I think Shazam has completely gone.
I see.
Sure. The one thing I saw about the trailer or I guess the movie in general, was the director said it's unapologetically Latino, which is pretty cool to hear. I mean, I feel like we get a lot of superhero flicks, or honestly just blockbusters in general, that just kind of maybe have that kind of source material and don't lean into it as much. And it's cool to hear that they're just going to go full on and just not even care. Like that a lot.
But
Yeah,
yeah.
he's a dope ass character. So I'm very excited.
Yeah.
Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I got to Dungeons and Dragons. I liked it a lot. I think I told Brandon, like, you know, or Brandon, I'm sorry, on this podcast he's known as Waz, that it was good, but it kind of played the hits. You know, it was a
Right.
really good example of a fun romp, but you know, that's all it really kind of strived to be. So it's like a solid 3.5 stars for me. But yeah, then I also been catching up, or keeping up to date, I should say, on Succession, Mandalorian, and Ted Lasso, and
Busy boy.
yeah, you know, kind of it's almost like I'm, you know, 12 again, and there's like one show a week or one day a week, and I don't have DVR and I don't have on demand, and you kind of just have to watch it on the night it comes out.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, a little nice in some ways. But the only other movie I got to last week was the Suicide Squad. Was it last year? 2 years ago now?
I think
James
it's
Gunn's Suicide Squad.
2021.
Yeah, we reviewed it on pod. It was really fun. I like that movie a lot, and seems to be kind of forgotten in some ways now, especially with like
Yeah.
Gunn taking over on DC in a lot of things. But yeah, Idris Elba's still out there somewhere in that universe. No one's talking about that.
I was in that. Yeah. Was that second watch of Suicide Squad?
No, I've probably watched it 3 times now, maybe. Yeah, it's kind of one that I'll throw on in the background every now and then. Just as if I'm doing laundry or something like that.
Gotcha. And I may have misspoke. Which one is the Suicide Squad?
So-
That's the newest one.
Yeah, it's the one we
Correct.
reviewed. Yeah, the good one.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, that was it for me this week on what I'd been watching. I'll
Nice.
kick it over to Tyler.
Oh hey.
man.
I didn't get around to a ton, but I feel like it's a pretty decent spread as far as what genres I kind of went into. But Leah came home one day and she said that there's this like chick who kind of got like famous on Instagram by like making fun of like what famous people wear. Like she would see like something like high
Oh,
fashion that looks really stupid, and
she-
then she would like
I think I
make,
know who you're
like, it
talking
out of her
about.
house, but like out of like household like items, and then she would like model it, and then she would
Do you
just
know her
basically
name?
like,
Because
post,
I'm
like,
pretty sure she just came to Mizzou to like do like a little talk, and then also like
I don't
give,
know
like-
her name, no, but
Okay.
she ended up
Forgot
getting
that
a show on Netflix. I think she's a comedian now too. I think she does
Yeah.
stand up. But the show is called Wilmina, and I believe it's 8 episodes on Netflix. I think they're all like just under an hour, kind of like that 45, 54 kind of minute range. But it was good. I actually had a good laugh, and I think they actually set it up for a season 2. So I'm actually kind of looking forward to that somewhere down the road. So I think that'll actually be pretty decent. But yeah, I'd say, you know, if you're looking for something to just kind of casually watch on Netflix, I would definitely pick it up. It's got some good life kind of lessons in there, and I think it's a pretty funny show overall.
how many episodes did you say?
I think 8.
Gotcha.
It's either 8 or 10, but I'm like 98% sure it's 8.
You're 98% sure?
I'm 98% sure it's 8. I got around to one of our kind of more highly spoken, underrated trilogies, or at least the start of it, and I got to one that I wish had more James Franco later in the trilogy, but I got to Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Hey,
Ooh,
all three?
that's the
No,
first.
Sorry, just
the
the
first one.
Sorry,
Just
sorry.
the first
yeah,
one.
just the
Right?
first
Yep.
You said
What is it?
trilogy, so
Is
it threw
it-
me off.
What is it?
It's Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and then
Rise-
it's
Dawn.
I think War is the
What
third one.
Yeah,
War's the third one. What is the
Rise,
second
Dawn,
one?
War.
Is it
Dawn.
Dawn.
Yeah,
There
it's
it
Dawn.
is. Yeah.
Thanks, Nathaniel.
I got you, friends. But yeah, I do
And
think that's
then,
one of the. I
Real
think
quick on that, which Franco brother is that? I can never tell the
That's
difference
James.
between those two.
James.
Okay, is James the younger
James is
one?
the older one,
He's the
or
older
maybe
one.
maybe I think maybe he's the middle one.
I don't know
if there's
there's
another one
three
with
of them.
James.
He's
I don't
the
know.
well
Is there three?
between James and Dave. He's the older one.
Yeah.
That's all you really need to know. I will say you won't be seeing him much anytime soon.
No.
Canceled.
Didn't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
A little weird on
I
set.
guess I want to rephrase. I don't want to see him more now. I just when the
Sure,
trilogy
sure,
originally
sure,
came
sure.
out and like the second
Yeah,
one
all
came
right,
out,
all
I was
right,
like,
Ty.
"Look,
Yeah,
it's
now
James."
collect yourself. Yeah.
So that's always a good one to go back to for sure. And I'll probably end up getting to the second and the third one at some point, just because I'm one of those weirdos where if I start a trilogy, I kind of feel like I gotta finish it.
Finish it.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure.
And then I got around to a suggestion of one of Adam's brothers that we declined to put on the podcast for now, because it's on Peacock, and rarely do you find things on Peacock. And I got around to Megan.
Oh yeah.
Oh man,
Yeah,
I
how
want
was
to watch that so bad. How is that?
It was good. I
Megan.
definitely would say it's a recommend if you're kind of in the mood for just to kind of have something new on. That's still kind of like that thriller horror genre. It's not like fucking, epic, or like, it's not crazy good, or like you have to see this or anything like that, but it's definitely got some of your classic kind of horror tropes, and it gives you a pretty good laugh sometimes, and
Okay.
it's actually pretty well acted, and I like the way that they kind of designed Megan and kind of her movements kind of throughout the whole thing, and there's some good kills, and yeah, I liked it. It was pretty good.
Cool.
between
So it's on Peacock now.
Huh?
It's on Peacock.
Peacock. Yep.
Yeah.
if you
How do you guys like Peacock? That's a streaming service I don't have. I've been contemplating.
I think I might be like one of the only people I know that actually has it.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
are the only person I know. Who
Do
has
you
it.
actually get value out of that, or is it just like I don't?
I see it in
$12
spurts.
whatever.
I get it with there's like a couple of TV shows on there that I'll always go back to, like The Office.
Fair.
It's like hard to kind of find in other places, and then the Harry Potter trilogy, or the whole series, is on there, not trilogy. So yeah, it's good to kind of find some good old stuff, but then you do get spurts of newer stuff that they obviously pay for to get on there, like Megan, and then another one that just popped up on there that I want to get around to is Knock at the Cabin. So yeah, there's
let us know
some
when
good
you
ones.
see that. Maybe we can actually put on the Entropy now.
Yeah. So there's some good ones that I kind of want to go back to now that they're available. So it's not bad, and I think it's like $5. So
Yeah, it's
as
pretty
far
cheap.
as streaming services go, it's easily one of the more inexpensive ones.
Okay.
But that's where
Yeah.
Friends is now, right? That's where you get your value out of it.
I don't know if Friends is
Or at
on there.
least
It
did.
might be.
I know
don't
The
know.
Office is there, right?
Yeah, that's the main one, main
Yeah.
TV show that I kind of go back to.
if you had to pick in a Freddy versus Jason style showdown of the Meg versus like 5
Chucky?
Megans, who you taking?
Like the Megalodon.
Yeah, the Meg versus 5 Megs or Megans.
The Meg.
Yeah, right. I mean,
You don't-
I haven't seen Megan.
I don't think they could band together
I would
Yeah.
assume.
like a giant robot Megan.
Especially if you have Jason Statham riding on the back of the megalodon, like
No,
it's
no,
a
no.
translucent steed
No,
riding
no.
into battle, then
No,
yeah, I mean
this
you're
is
you're golden.
No. This is the Meg Sans Statham. Okay, we can't go crazy here. There's no one that can take a Meg that's being ridden by Jason Statham. Maybe King Kong being ridden by Godzilla, or other way around, Godzilla being ridden by King Kong. But I don't know. I mean, that's getting crazy talk out here. I'm just talking about like
That is crazy talk.
five Mithriegans all assembling together like some sort of transformer bot
I'm still taking the Meg.
could take on the Meg. All right, fair
Yeah,
enough.
man. I think if you go back to kind of our argument on like the 1 versus 10s or whatever term we want to put
Yeah,
on,
right.
I just don't know how adept Megan is in the water. We can't take the Meg
Oh,
out of
for
the
sure,
right?
for sure. Yeah,
So
that's a great point.
I
Okay,
think it's tough.
yeah.
Tough.
I guess I'll have to see the movie to verify. I'm also just entirely
Right.
relying
Now,
this
if
off.
she's in the movie and she's going crazy in the water, then maybe we have a
It's true. We know what was that
Maybe we have
other
to have
thing
it.
that was super aquatic? Oh, it was the Quiet Place monsters. Weren't they like super swimmy in the second part in part 2? Or could they not go
actually,
in the water?
No, I think it rode the boat over there.
It
I
rode
think
the
like
boat.
they're actually
Yeah.
not aquatic at all.
That's what it was. Yeah, they
Uh,
couldn't go in the water.
Yeah.
All right,
I
never
can't think
mind.
of anything that we
Spoilers
found
for
out
aquatic.
was aquatic.
For a Quiet Place 2.
Yeah.
Any time you're
Mhm.
talking about like a land-based fighting, a sea-based fight, anytime there's that crossover, I automatically think of Other Guys, where he's like, "You're talking about tunas? You're talking about 200 or 300 of us? We're talking about building breathing apparatuses. We're talking 20, 30 minutes tops. I can get on land."
Yeah, wasn't it like a tuna versus a lion or something like that?
Yeah, it was tuna
Yeah,
versus
a
a lion.
lion.
Yeah.
You know what? Maybe I like the taste of lion. Maybe we stay on land.
So you want to know what's crazy? Just how, man, we're tangent everywhere. On the topic of tunas, I didn't realize how big. Now there may be multiple subspecies
Sure.
of tuna. I didn't realize how big a fucking tuna fish was.
They're
So like
huge.
I saw a video on YouTube
Giant
just maybe
tuna.
like 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Mind blown. I had
Huge.
no idea tuna fish were that big. I thought it was
Huge.
just like,
Is it,
you know,
For-
up. I was like, holy shit.
for listeners who don't have a visual
Oh
reference,
yeah, I forgot it's not all.
Blake held up like, I don't know, like a potato size like hand motion there. But yeah, giant tuna are like 6 feet like tall. They have those like
Yeah.
they have to
had
cut them
no
with like
idea, bro.
katanas in Japan for like the big fish markets. I saw it because here we go, we're tangenting again. They had to forge one of the tuna katanas on Forged in Fire once.
Yeah.
But is it one of those situations where it's just like the ocean is so big, so there's no reason for the tuna to stop growing? Like
It's gotta be.
eventually they just get so big there's no predator for them or something like that. Like, you know, they're not restricted in any way. What? Adam's just shaking his head.
I don't know.
I guess we
yeah,
should.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I sent something to all of you guys. Feel free to kind of watch it whenever you want.
Oh, fair enough.
It's I suggest Volume. It's
I didn't play it with volume, and it still freaked me out.
it's right up our alley.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
So
It's a little horror clip, I guess you could say, listeners. Terrifying. Anyway,
it's even worse with Volume.
I'm gonna watch it back with volume. Probably not sleep at night, but
We're talking about tuna here?
should I
Yes.
just play it with volume on pod?
No,
Or
I'm
we get a
good.
Copyright strike for an Instagram video.
I don't think we can. There's
Yeah, I
no
don't think
there's
so
no
either.
really audio in there. It's just laughing
Yeah.
and pounding.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Just that. Given the context of the video, it is not anything to bash your eye out.
Anyways, yeah, we're way off now.
Yeah.
But,
we're way off. Sorry.
I'm done talking about tuna. Tuna talk is over, and let's get back on track. Who are we? Who's doing what we're watching?
I think Blake was finishing what he was watching. Or have we or were we still like in the middle of my
I think we're
mine
in the
and
middle of
picking
yours.
somebody else?
I think we're in the middle of yours because you're talking about
Okay.
Megan, and then we somehow
Oh
got.
yeah, and then I brought up the Meg.
Megan
I'm
versus
sorry.
Megalodon.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Those are the only three that I got
Sound
I
made
got
it
done
worse.
too. So I'll pass it off to Blake.
Yeah, actually, pretty light week for me. I didn't get to a ton. I spoke on Smile last week. It's the horror movie from 2022 that I was trying to get to for quite some time, and that reminded me Follows. So I've seen It Follows and Infinite. The Ring, rewatched The Ring this past week. Kind of see the parallels and draw the parallels between that and mine. So The Ring, that's the actually I don't think actually I'll correct myself. This is the US version. Is a Japan version came out. I forgot what it's called.
Blake,
Is what it's called?
you're cutting in and out
Yeah,
pretty
you're
bad.
going in and out.
Oh
here.
man. You guys got me or no?
Yeah, I think I think
Yeah,
it might just be
you
you
just
are
keep
too
going.
far from the mic, to be honest with you, or it's like not turned
Okay.
up enough. It's because it does seem to be cutting out like on electrical side. It might just be I think you're like right on the threshold of getting picked up.
Okay. You guys got me now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's better.
So yeah, I got to where did I leave off at? I got to The Ring.
Yep.
It's kind of referencing that and the parallels between Smile and It Follows. Seen It Follows an infinite amount of time. Ended up watching The Ring, which is the U.S. version of 2022. I think there's a Ringu, which is the Japan version, I believe.
Yep.
Which is based
Forever.
off a book.
Yep.
From quite some time before that. But The Ring is a horror movie I've seen probably 3 or 4 times. That's by Gore Verbinski, which
That
I
is-
don't think I've seen much else.
You have not
Actually,
seen.
no, he did Rango off the top of my head, if I remember correctly, and I love Rango.
Have you seen
shout out
Pirates
the
of the
animated film?
Caribbean?
Yes, the animated film with Johnny Depp.
Have-
Um,
Have you seen Pirates of the
Forgot about-
Caribbean?
actually, so crazy enough, I've never seen a single Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, I'm not
Okay.
surprised, honestly. After Star Wars, anything's possible with this man.
This
And
is
Harry
true.
Potter 2, you haven't seen either, right?
I haven't seen a single Harry Potter
Okay,
film.
I
I
don't know
didn't
what
see a
you're
single
watching,
Lord of the Ring film until now.
It's
All right,
true.
we'll get
we
there.
we did kind of
That
start
whole
this
genre is just
podcast,
not
saying that Adam hadn't seen a lot of films, but maybe Blake is really the one who has.
Maybe Blake's the culprit.
Yeah, he's the secret non-movie watcher besides just
yeah.
every horror movie that's ever existed.
That's the
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, I got the large horror background, but in terms of, there's definitely a handful of like cult classics that I just have not seen.
Just mega franchises.
Yeah. So I gotta work on that.
No, it's great. You're the
but yeah.
perfect anti-blockbuster. You're like, if it made a Billy,
little
I
bit.
don't want to see it.
Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, The Rings. It's got Naomi Watts, Martin Henderson. Basically, just tells a story of a cursed tape. I'm sure anybody who is a horror fan or heard of that movie has seen it. Really good though. I'm sure Ty and Nathaniel have seen it. Adam, have you seen The Ring by chance?
I've not.
I doubt it. I figured. Yeah, man. It's actually like I said, it's from 2002. It's a very slow burn. Like at the time, a lot of slow burn horrors like that. Yeah, I think you get a kick
Man,
out of it.
I don't know how.
They made a sequel
I've heard of it, of course. Looks good.
for sure.
but,
For sure.
I don't know how I
It's
never
even been
made.
parodied in like Scary Movie 2, I think, or Scary Movie 3 was parodied like super hard. So that may kind of throw a wrench in there for you if you ever.
Mhm. I haven't seen any of the scary movies, so
Oh,
we're good on
wow.
that front.
Fair. We're gonna say Nathaniel.
I never made the connection that was Martin Henderson in both The Ring and X. Like I don't know how I just straight up missed that.
Yeah. And he's also in The Strangers Pray at Night. He's the dad.
I have not seen that. Is it worth
Really?
the
Sequel?
Yeah, it's the sequel to The Strangers. Honestly, when I first saw it, I didn't really like it. I've rewatched it since then, maybe like a year later, but it's not as bad as I thought. It's definitely not as good as the original.
Okay,
But it's not a doormat, as you can see with a lot of horror films.
for sure.
So. But yeah, that's it. Outside of that, watched a handful of basketball. Lakers look like they're rolling right now, so hopefully LeBron
They are.
can do something.
About time. Yeah. I
Um,
mean, I don't know if they'll make a play-in spot probably. I don't know if they have a chance still for an actual playoff spot though.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping
Yeah,
so,
we'll see.
man. That'd be really cool. And yeah, that's it for me. Who hasn't gone? Adam?
I think I'm the last one. Didn't get to too much. Anyone else watch the Australian Grand Prix?
No, I did not. It was very late at night,
Oh,
and I was in bed.
I watched it on a rerun the next morning. It was great. Good race. Kind of wild, honestly. Kind of a pretty wild race. Did you watch?
I believe he did, if I
Just not
remember
getting
right.
back. He's
Yeah,
okay.
he was saying that he stayed up and watched, I believe.
Thai Australian Grand Prix.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah?
forgot about that.
All good. All good.
What
Wild
a
race.
clusterfuck.
Yeah, right. How many red flags? 3.
3.
3 red flags. I
3
feel bad
safety
for Russell.
cars.
He,
Or sorry,
yeah, 3
2 full
cars,
safety cars, 1
1
VSC.
virtual. Yeah. Wild race. Always
Yeah,
good.
crazy.
Always fun though. Always fun. That last restart was just shit show.
Yeah, it's always funny too because when situations like that happen and the FIA doesn't let the race restart, people are just all assed up because they're like, "Oh, let him race," and then like
Yeah.
when they actually do that, people are like, "Oh, how fucking stupid that
How
they made him
stupid,
restart!
yeah.
Just let him finish the race." So it's always funny that everyone's
Exactly.
always fucking flopping against the FIA.
They can't. Yeah, you can't win. You can't
No,
win if you're the FIA.
they're the referees. You just as a ref, you just have to know
right.
that you don't win.
Right. But yeah, great race. I'm sure you're happy about Max Verstappen 3 in a row.
Yeah, bro. We're going 3 years championship.
I heard this would be hilarious. I don't think they'll do it, but Max Verstappen theoretically could win it. How soon could he win the world championship? I think it's like
Japan, I think.
Yeah. So what is that? 12, 13?
I think so.
If he wins like all of them, or it gets really high. Anyway, they have like a chance where like if he wins early enough in the season, like around the halfway point, if they wanted to, they could put in Daniel Ricciardo, and because the Red Bull is so good, they have a chance to for the first time get a 1, 2, and 3 in the drivers' championship, which would be awesome. I don't think they'll do that because Max Verstappen and Joss will have a heart attack, and Max probably won't let that happen.
Try getting Max to fucking sit.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
you'd have to pay out his entire contract again, which I think is $50 million.
Yeah. But that'd be kind of wild. I hope things get more competitive. As much as I love Red Bull, I don't think it'll be fun to watch Max win every single race by like 15 seconds.
I'm kind of on the fence, obviously, because I want Max to have a championship. But the cool thing about this sport is, regardless of where you're at in the grid, somebody's always fighting for something.
Right.
And even the lower level teams are constantly trying to get up to the midfield to just even progress in points. I mean, like you see drivers that get like their first points for like Williams and they're like crying in their interviews. So like it's cool to see the passion just kind of like trickle down regardless of where they're at. To just see that like everybody's obviously super passionate about getting points and they love to just have the drive of a lifetime in these fucking cars. And so it's cool. But yeah, anytime you get competition at the front, it always makes seasons way better. I mean, look at the season that we had between Max and Hamilton and where it came down to like the last race, the last lap. Like it'll go down as one of the greatest seasons.
Yeah, I was very privileged to be watching that, or following that season and everything.
Yeah.
Talk about the FIA. Yikes. But yeah, it's a good season so far. Hopefully it gets a little bit more fun to watch.
Yeah, plenty of season left.
Oh, of course. Anything can happen. I mean, look at how Ferrari started. Yeah, look how Ferrari started last year, and then they fell off a cliff.
And they're currently falling off cliffs.
Oh, they're still at the bottom of the cliff. Yeah.
The fact that Hülkenberg has as many points in the Constructors' Cup as Leclerc
is hilarious.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Although I heard that Haas is in some hot water. Because
Gene is specifically yes.
Yeah. Gene Haas is alleged to continue to sell manufacturing parts to Russian arms dealers despite the U.S. sanctions.
Yeah.
Which is a big no-no. So we'll see.
Yeah, that'll get you in trouble.
That'll get you in trouble. So yeah, we'll see what
But
happens.
even
there.
if he ends up getting booted, it leaves another door open for another team to buy in. And there's been a
Right.
lot of teams that have been sitting on the bench that wanna buy in, especially now. Like you're looking
yeah,
at
it's blowing up.
a fucking huge bubble in this sport, and I think it's only going to keep rising for easily the next
Right.
5 to 10 years before you
Right.
get a drop off again.
Yeah. No, it's definitely an exciting time, and I think there would be a lot of good teams to buy in. And honestly, like as much as I love Gunter, Haas just talk about a cliff, man. They fell off the cliff that was the cliff to fall off. I mean, they haven't really been competitive ever. So it would be fun to see if they could get another team in. Because I mean, it's fun to see Aston Martin now kind of get their shot.
Yeah.
As much as I
Well, I
don't
mean,
like Lance Stroll or his dad.
Haas is competitive now as far as the midfield
Yeah,
goes.
they're doing pretty well this
And
season.
the crazy thing is like that's their expectations. Like Hulkenberg getting sixth is like
Yeah, that's
exceeding expectations for them.
right.
As
Yeah.
far as like sponsors go, the contracts they have, like that's far exceeding what they were supposed to do that race. So like they're riding high as fuck right now. They just won a championship. So
No, they're doing well so far this season. But I
Yeah.
mean, if we can just the more cars closer to the front, because imagine like we just talked about the season where it was Red Bull and Mercedes going back
Yeah.
and forth, and then Hamilton and Max. It's just like imagine that's like 3 or 4 teams, and there's 8 drivers all almost tied for the championship. Or imagine it comes down to the last race and like 1 of 5 drivers could win it. Like
Yeah.
that would be insane. So if that does open up and the team with more money that's willing to invest a little bit more and get well, I guess more money doesn't mean as much now, but more resources and everything would be pretty good. I also want to say poor McLaren and poor Lando Norris and Oscar. That car doesn't seem like it has much hope at all this season. It might just be scratched.
Yeah, I think they're in some pretty big trouble with those.
Yeah.
As far as the season goes, obviously, like we said, there's plenty of season left. But when
Of course.
things are looking this grim, and you got 2 very young drivers,
very good
obviously
drivers
Lando
too.
has a little bit of skin in the game, but I think Lando is going to end up being, one of those Bottas's a couple years down the road. I think he's going to end up getting picked up by a higher end team, and he's going to end up being a secondary for a long time until he goes out and kind of does his own thing again towards the end of his career.
Yeah, I definitely think that could happen. I could see that because he's really good. Like he's done pretty well in subpar McLaren the past couple years. This is just extra subpar.
And the fact that he did better than Ricardo last year in the same car in the same circumstances, it bodes a lot for him.
Yeah, and I like him a lot too. Great personality.
Yeah,
he's got a Halo team. Great guys. So, yeah. Other things I watched. Also saw Dungeons and Dragons. You know what? Had a great time with it. It's knows exactly what it is. It's not the greatest movie I've ever seen, but it's a nice little entertaining popcorn flick.
Does it make you want to play it all?
Honestly, a little bit, because I've played a couple of I've always started and like never gotten past like session 3.
Sure.
Usually that's where my groups kind of fall off. And then times I've played, like I've really enjoyed it, but this time around I was like, man, this seems like a lot of fun. And I'm sure there was like references I didn't get. There were some I did, but references I didn't get or things they included. I did like how they kind of did the characters where like you could kind of tell what their character or what their attributes were. So you had like the bard, and then he's as he says, he's like the planner and everything, but then he can't really fight much at all. And then you have the paladin, who's like incredible at fighting but really stupid. So like that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like his intelligence is really low, you could say, as if you're on a character sheet. So that was really fun. Michelle Rodriguez is really good, and I forgot the actor's name who plays the sorcerer, but he was great as well. Yeah, that was us. I think that was all I got to. Besides, of course. Oh wait, no, there's one more thing. I'm gonna go catch up with Attack on Titan.
Oh,
I watched an episode today. I hadn't finished. Like, they just started doing like the final. It's basically part 3 of season 4. So they just started doing that for like it's finally the final season of Attack on Titan. Final little few episode run. But I had never finished the second one. I had like 2 episodes left in like the second part of this season 4. Or was this 3 or 4? I think it's 4, right? Anyway, had a few episodes left in that, so I watched one today. Gonna watch. I think there's only 2 episodes out, 2 or 3 episodes out in the new parts, but gonna start catching up with that. That's always fun.
Cool.
But of course, I also got to a little movie called The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King.
Squirt.
Welcome, listeners, to the main review segment of the podcast. We're gonna go, or Nathaniel, if you want to go ahead and remind the viewers of how the review segment works.
I suppose I can. Listeners, if this is... Yeah, I suppose. Listeners, if this is the first time listening to the podcast, or if you've just forgotten, the way our review segment works here on Back Row Banter is it is broken down into 2 sections. There is the non-spoiler section. That is where we're going to go over pretty much the movie's IMDb page, who wrote it, who directed it, who's in it, all that good stuff. Its main little summary. And no big spoilers, but we will go around the squadron and see if we recommend this movie. It's got to be a yes or no. There is no nuance on the internet. Once that's all sorted, we'll play the spoiler noise. If you don't want to have anything spoiled for you, go ahead and back out, but do come back later because we're going to rank this thing up on our Entropy list, which is our big list for everything we've watched on the podcast, ranked. And with that being said, Adam, tell me about Lord of the Rings, Return of the King.
I would love to. This, of course, was released in the year 2003. So 20 years. Damn. Didn't really realize that till I said it out loud. 2003, rated PG-13, with a unextended edition runtime of 3 hours and 21 minutes. I believe an extra hour is added onto that for the extended edition. So pick your poison there. Directed, of course, by Peter Jackson, rounding out the trilogy. Written by Fran Walsh, or let me get all the writing credits here because there's more than one. Fran Walsh, Philippa Boyens, and Peter Jackson, based on the novel, of course, by J.R.R. Tolkien. The cast includes Elijah Wood, Viggo Mortensen, Ian McKellen, Orlando Bloom.
All the faves.
I'm trying to get the big ones here. Sean Astin. Kate Blanchett's there. I mean, there's so many people. It's a huge cast.
It is what is known as an ensemble.
Yes, it is. Do I need... Who am I missing that I haven't said already?
I don't know. I've lost track at this point. But it's Lord of the Rings, folks.
Yeah.
You know who's in this.
It's Lord of the Rings. And Andy Serkis.
I was going to say, Andy Serkis is a big one. But yeah, I mean, we've been around the block with these, so...
Yeah.
We're coming home.
We're coming home. We're rounding third on this one. The IMDb summary.
Is this the first trilogy we'll have on there? Like complete trilogy?
No, you're forgetting The Conjuring.
Yes.
And Halloween. We have the Halloween reboot trilogy.
There you go. I didn't say this at the top, but it has an IMDb rating of 9.0 out of 10.
Jeez, flat 9,
which is the highest. I don't even think I have to look at the entry list. I believe that's the highest rated.
It's got to be. Because before that, what was sitting at the highest? Was it Inception? Inception is something else. Like something like
8.9, and I think The Shining is also 8.9.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. The IMDb summary reads as follows: Gandalf and Aragorn lead the world of men against Sauron's army to draw his gaze from Frodo and Sam as they approach Mount Doom with the One Ring. Well, I mean, I guess it's a 4.5-hour movie, so I can't be too mad that one sentence doesn't summarize it well, but that just feels like that's only a small part of the movie. But I guess that's enough. But it's Lord of the Rings. You know what's going down. It's just the finale of it all. Back with our favorite band of characters. Have we discussed favorite characters here? I think we did in Fellowship. Maybe we can talk more about that in spoilers. But what are we thinking here? Blake, this is obviously your first watch.
Yeah.
How did you like this? How does this compare to the other two? Are you intrigued? Do you want to go watch The Hobbits now? Where are you at with Lord of the Rings?
Ooh, I don't see myself going to watch The Hobbits. It's not
Okay.
because I don't like these films.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like them enough to sit through 4 hours. That's really what
Sure.
it comes down to, right? I mean, if these were at a shorter segment, I'd probably be more likely to go on and finish. Not that I
Sure.
think they're bad and that they're not very knowledgeable and notable works of art, but it's just a little too long for my liking, for me not being a big fantasy guy. That being said, though, I do like the film. These films do look really good, and once you put in context, they're like 20 plus years old. Like once you kind of put that stuff in context, I'm like, okay, I see why
Yeah.
this was huge
Right.
movement, I guess. Um, a very pinnacle moment of the early 2000s. And as far as where I rank this in my trilogy, though, I think I like the second one the most. And that's because I said earlier, I just really found, I was just really fond of the trees, the Ents, for whatever reason it may be. I
The
don't know.
ends edge it out for you. Okay.
Honestly, I think that's really what it comes down to.
Okay. Not enough
But
trees.
I
Say
like that
different,
as like a
Save the tree.
non-fantasy guy, you're like, my favorite characters in this? The big talking trees. They're
the
my
talking
boys.
trees for sure, for sure. So yeah, but still, overall, I do like it. It's really good to. I assume this technically concludes the story, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Has he gone back? Did he ever go back to post Lord of the Rings?
No, everything that's kind of come out has all been pre.
Okay,
yeah.
so the Hobbit films, which how many of those are there?
There's 3 films, but it's 1 book.
Okay, and those all take place before any of these movies.
Correct.
Yep.
Okay,
So yeah, The Hobbit. What's funny, at least I find it funny, is The Hobbit was like the original book, and then he wrote The Lord of the Rings as the sequel. But then the Lord of the Rings became more popular, so like those were made into movies before The Hobbits were.
okay, makes sense.
Yeah. So so the Lord of the Rings is a sequel to the Hobbit book, but the Hobbit is a sequel to the Lord of the Rings or prequel to the Lord of the Rings movie, basically.
Okay, and then have you all? I'm sure you all have seen the Hobbit films, right?
Yes.
I've seen all 3, but I think I've really only seen them once or twice. I haven't seen them
Okay.
in a while.
Okay. And if I'm kind of correct now, just thinking out loud, there's something I came across because I've always been fond of dragons for the most part. And there's a lot of people on kind of Reddit, YouTube, things of that nature, who give a lot of praise to. I think it's the dragon that's in one of the Hobbit films. Am I
Smog.
okay?
Smaug.
I was like, am I on the right
Smaug.
path here? I got you.
Yes.
So yeah, maybe just because I like dragons and people say that that's a very good.
Who, in the
is a good
grand
dragon.
scheme of things, is a very small dragon.
Okay.
There's a big
Yes.
dragon in Dungeons and Dragons.
There's a very big dragon in Dungeons
Is
and
is it
Dragons.
any cool though?
Nah, it's like
it's the
beast
dragon
dragon.
version of the Scott Adkins character in John Wick 4.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Analogy.
It's I was very happy to have that particular character stereotype in 2 weeks in a row in the movies. It's good for the
Yeah.
chonky boys out there.
Right.
One's just in dragon form.
That's right.
So fair enough. But yeah, those are my quick thoughts. I'll pass it to I guess you guys have all seen this probably infinite times, so whoever really wants to go from here.
Nathaniel, why don't you take it up?
Okie dokie. Yeah, this is in some ways this is one that's hard for me to think about critically. I think this was a big formative movie again series for me as a kid falling in love with movies too. I mean, these just blew my mind. I'd never seen anything like it. I'd never seen I hadn't seen Titanic at this point. I still haven't seen Titanic. Spoilers.
Wow, that's surprising. I never knew that.
Yeah, never saw Titanic. Just
Wow.
never have. So I think these were probably the biggest movies I'd ever seen, and it just was incredible. I think I spoke last time where I was like, as a kid, for seeing the first Fellowship the movie or Fellowship of the Rings, I didn't know it was a trilogy, so I was just like, what the hell happens? Where's the end of the story? When that movie ended, and then all of a sudden we get it, and it's this, and it's I think. I might have been talking a little bit pre-pod, but we'll talk. We'll find out if it ends up in the show. But this being the first time I've seen the extended editions of this, it is interesting to me what has been cut, and I think a lot of that adds texture to the world, and I think it even like it does take it to that status of like true epic storytelling. But I think the cuts make sense from a theatrical movie run standpoint, and just the limits of the human endurance for sitting in one place
Yeah.
for a certain amount of time. So yeah, I mean, this is a great finale, I think, in a lot of ways, which it's been rewarded as such since then. And I think I think for a lot of people in my generation, this is kind of like your almost go-to story of good triumphing over evil kind of
Yeah.
myth in some ways at this point. It's a lot of it's comfort food for me in some ways. I know it's comfort food for Tyler.
Facts.
It's just one of those stories, especially when you're just kind of like feeling kind of shitty. You're like, well, could be worse. Could be trying to lug a big old ring up a mountain. And everyone hates me.
It's really a heavy ring. It's a very heavy
It's a
ring.
very heavy ring. It's made out of like plutonium, and maybe there's
It's made out of vibranium.
Yep, maybe a big bug's gonna sting you. You could have that on your maybe not. Who knows? I'm dancing around the spoiler line. Anyways, I guess Adam, finish up your thoughts there. Obviously, big recommend for me. Hard for me to think about critically. I think Peter Jackson nailed it. I feel like you can see his soul in this movie in some ways,
Yeah.
and I'm not surprised that I feel like it's kind of taken its toll on him in some ways too. I think this is like the equivalent of like an athlete just like redlining their body for like 3 years on like a championship team, and then just never, really being the same
Never
again
fully
after
recovering.
that. Yeah, in some ways. So I feel like you got to respect it in that sense. And just like, damn, it looks good for being 20
It
years
does.
old and having 20-year-old effects and everything like that, They really
Yeah, for
shot
sure.
the hell out of this thing. The whole series.
They
Practical effects.
truly did.
But
They-
anyways,
they also blend practical and VFX together very well.
yeah,
shows.
100%.
Yeah. For me, this is one I haven't seen it in a while. But after watching it again, this and now completing a rewatch of the trilogy, or at least my rewatch of the trilogy, this might be my favorite.
Yeah.
This is this was so much fun. For me, I think it was probably the most like compelling overall story through the entire movie, where like I was interested nearly from scene to scene. Now it was 4 hours and 10 minutes, and for the extended edition, and I was not fully prepared for that when I sat down. But that being said, like I was still invested the whole time, and even though it was 4 hours, I wasn't like overly antsy to get it over with. I wasn't like, when will this end? It was more just like, damn, I still got more to go. Like, holy shit.
Right.
But so it's long, but that's not necessarily like a terrible thing when it's a movie this good. So this was definitely I think it's almost far and away my favorite. I don't know where you guys stand with your rankings, but I would probably go 3, 2, 1, honestly.
Wow.
But I think Tyler's is probably backwards, right? What is yours, Tyler? I guess we can do everybody's. What is everybody's OG ranking?
First one's always going to be Fellowship. And then Two Towers and Return of the King tend to fluctuate back and forth quite a bit.
Sure.
Yeah,
Nathaniel?
I mean, I think you could probably say that they're on kind of a rotating basis just based on what I'm feeling at the time. But my general ranking is probably 2, 3, 1, maybe.
2, 3, 1. Okay. Blake, do you have an order?
Yeah, I'd probably agree with Nathaniel of the 2, 3,
3, 1.
1.
Fair.
I think 1 and 3 they're close. They're close. But I think I'd probably lean towards 3. But 2 is definitely the favorite.
Yeah, I could really be argued in any direction on any of those ones. Like, I'm not going to fight
Yeah.
you too hard on anyone's ranking.
Yeah, there's not, and I want to be clear too, even with me kind of saying like, oh, they're not my favorite films, sure, but like, none of these movies are duds by any means, even in my opinion, of
Oh,
not
yeah,
being
no.
a fantasy guy. So yeah, just want to clear that up. So yeah, 1 and 3 definitely interchangeable. The 2 is my favorite. Shout out the ends.
Shout out the ends. Well, I think
Shout
that's a
out the
recommend all
Eds.
around. Were you gonna say something, Nathaniel?
No, I was echoing shout out the Eds.
Oh, okay.
It made me laugh.
Recommend all around. So if you've not seen Return of the King, go ahead, check it out. It's pretty good. But then you can come back and join us for the spoiler talk. But we're gonna go ahead and head into spoilers. So if you've not seen it, check that episode description, where you can find a timestamp to jump to, where you'll be taken to our ranking of the movie up upon that entropy list. Spoilers time.
Oh, I don't have my sound effects turned on. Hold on, boys.
Nazgul.
What should our spoilers sound this week? Let's do something different. Let's do crickets.
I like it.
Spoiler time.
Justice for what's his name? Sam. What's his
Samwise
last name?
Gamgee.
Samwise
Yeah,
Gamgee.
yeah. Justice for Sam. What a hero.
Does get
Unsung hero of this movie.
Is he?
I think so.
Think he's the unsung hero?
Yeah, he carries Frodo up a mountain on his back, man.
That's what I'm
He
saying.
doesn't.
I think
He holds the ring in his pocket and doesn't hold on to it. Gives it back.
I agree. I think it's very recognized that Sam is the best out of anyone in this one. Sam's the shit.
Sam is the ship.
Yeah, I saw. Obviously, I've seen this as a younger kid, and then obviously I've grown up on this and kind of seen it in my adult years. But I feel like I've cultivated friendships solely based on how I want people to be around me because of Sam. And I feel like I have a lot of like if I bring you into my friend group, I basically look at you and be like, how can you Samwise for me? And that's kind of how I dictate whether or not you're gonna be in my group.
And I think that's very valid. That's a very valid litmus test.
Will you carry me up
For
a
friendship.
hill?
Yeah, except it's will you carry me if I'm hammered? And
Fair.
Fair enough.
Very fair.
Yeah,
So
not so much anymore, but
I'm watching it back on as we always do. We could have the films running in the background. I just got to the bit where Sam and Frodo get into Mordor in under disguise, and I always love just the random cut to them with these huge nosed helmets for some reason. It's like such
That was pretty funny.
Yeah, that which I think when you watch it with the I will say when you watch it with the extended edition, you get more bits of humor, I think, in the extended editions than you do in the theatrical cut. It's definitely sillier,
Sure.
I think, in some bits as well too.
Definitely see that being the case. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is a movie that's about the journey and is the journey, you know? Like, and you go through all of that with this guys. I think Jackson does a great job of taking you with these characters who at the start in Fellowship, you know, you do grow to like all of them or you know, at least care about all of them. And then now 7 hours later, we're seeing, you know, the end of this kind of harrowing journey. And it is this just great little catharsis of getting the gang back together at the end, you know, of resolution. So much so that they end the movie
Right.
4 times.
Yeah, dude. that climax happening, and then there's still an hour and a half left.
I mean, I
think
think that's a valid criticism of this movie.
Yeah.
As good as it is that you do really have like a couple of false endings here and there, which you're just gonna have with a movie like this, I think.
Right.
And I mean, they don't even go as deep into it as they want to. I mean, there's the whole thing with like the harrowing of the was it the Shire? Tyler will know more about that afterwards.
Tyler would have to tell you.
Tyler will know more about that
that's a Tyler
afterwards,
question.
where the orcs come back and attack the Shire, and there's a whole bunch of other
Oh, do
storyline
they
going.
really?
Yeah, like while
That's
the
fucked
boys
up.
have kind of like been away.
That's not cool, man.
Yeah,
That's not cool, bro.
yep. But anywho, what a good movie.
What a good movie. That battle scene. I mean, I love the Helm's Deep battle scene from the last one, but this one, I think
You're talking about the Pelennor Fields one, where the Minas Tirith is being attacked and everything.
yes, the Minas Tirith, which is like I love the pronunciation of that, by the way. And you know what else I really appreciate? Everyone's pronounces it that way. Everyone pronounces it that way. There's no confusion on how Minas Tirith is pronounced. And you know what? That goes a long way for me, because we be going through all these movies and it's like names changing left and right, who's who, what's what. No, they got it right this time. Everyone got it right. Loved it.
Yeah, attention to detail is something that you do not miss out on in this one. In any of these, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, the extendeds are cool because if you've seen the theatricals, you obviously obviously there's people out there that just don't like fantasy and just don't like these movies, which is fine. I get it. If your excuse is ever something is too long, then you really don't enjoy watching whatever it is that you say you watch. Whatever it's anime, movies. If your excuse is that it's too long,
Fair.
you aren't really looking at it the way that you should. But yeah, anytime you get an extended versus a theatrical, you really kind of start to look at all the little things that they change or the little things that they add, the things that they could obviously that drive the plot and the story. And these are just 3 extendeds that just don't miss. Every little piece that they put in these that is part of the extended 110% gives you more detail as to why that happened or why is something going to happen. And I think they do it just perfectly. Even like the small town that basically sits in front of Minas Tirith, Osgiliath.
Yep.
And you get that kind of whole town fight
Ahead of time
between Faramir and all the other warriors. Like it's just there's just so much that goes into that, and it's just it's crazy how much detail goes into these for sure.
Yeah, justice for Faramir, by the way.
Justice for Faramir.
Faramir is dope. Me and Justin and I have a fond memory. Justin and I obviously grew up on these movies, so Justin's a really big fan of these movies as well. And hi, Justin. And we don't say hi enough to Justin, that's for sure.
Shout out Justin.
Hi, Justin.
Yeah.
Shout out Justin, man.
And there's this one scene where the steward of Minas Tirith is eating tomatoes rather erotically. That there's a close up on that people just either enjoy or just fucking hate. But
it's where ASMR was born. In my opinion, I feel like a lot of ASMR fetishes were started with that scene.
But the steward is Faramir and Baramir's father, and obviously by now that Boromir has passed, and Faramir is sitting in there, and he's like, "Do you wish now that I had died and Boromir had lived?" And he's like, "Yes, I wish that." And there's this one time where my mom was just like getting like Justin and I were just annoying kids. And I looked at my mom, and Justin and I are both like just standing in the living room, and I just look at my mom and I'm like, do you wish now that I had died and Justin had lived? And Justin and I just fucking started dying, and my mom's like, you guys are fucking idiots.
Like, I hate both of you.
That's pretty funny.
I will tell
So
you.
that just goes to show you that we have not only quoted this movie now in our later years, but these are movies that have absolutely shaped us in who we are and kind of what we enjoy.
For sure. As I think a lot of people kind of have that stance, though. I think I'm one of the outliers in this of being somebody who's a pretty big movie fan, and it's my first time seeing these. I don't think there's too many people in that boat, you know?
Yeah, I think
Not a lot.
yeah, I think it's very few and far between, but I think it really just kind of depends on what you kind of come accustomed to in your younger years. Like you obviously weren't subjected to like a ton of fantasy,
Mhm.
and horror was obviously something that was embedded in you pretty early. And I think you kind of stick to what your roots are, and at some point you obviously get your eyes open to some new stuff. But
For sure. For sure.
I mean, I don't think I was really raised on fantasy, but like the cartoons of these I watched when I was a kid.
Yep.
And then
Oh, I
my
didn't know there was
uncle,
cartoons
yeah,
of
bro,
these.
Oh, yeah.
there's an animated series of The Hobbit that's like way, way before, and it looks like shit. But
It's probably on YouTube.
it's
You could probably watch it at some
I
point.
was
yeah,
gonna say,
100%.
where is that? That might be something to even to just put on for like background noise,
Yeah.
just kind of chilling at home.
No,
Yeah,
That might
you
be
could easily find episodes of it on YouTube for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, it's like my uncle read these books to me as a kid, and like Justin, so I think this has so much more deep-seated roots for me than I think probably the average person. I don't think people picked up a ton of these or picked up on a ton of this until the movies came out. I don't think you had a whole lot of people going out reading Lord of the Rings unless you were like a pretty big bookworm.
Nerd.
Nerd.
I'll tell you what, guys. If I'm ever in a coma, some sort of accident, maybe I slip down the stairs, maybe some black ice gets me or something, But I've been out there. I've been knocked out for a couple, 2-3 days, couple weeks, something like that. Yeah. I'm gonna leave a little USB underneath my bed, and I'm gonna need one of you guys to come and get it, and then just put it in a decent sound system, something, a little Bluetooth speaker, something, and then it's gonna be Theoden's speech, and then his death charge, and I promise,
Right now.
I promise if you just play that, I will be up and through a wall in about 5 seconds. That
Dude, I got chills. I literally got chills and goosebumps.
every
I was
time.
like, holy shit.
Every time
Yeah,
it gets me,
yeah.
man. When they start screaming death and then charging down the hill, I'm all
Dude,
in.
the death thing was my favorite part. Where he's just like death, and then everyone's just chanting it. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah,
Like
I'm ready to run through a brick wall.
Wild thing to chant. Yeah, I'm ready to run through every brick wall, dude. There's not a brick that can hold me back. Yeah, that's a great scene. And then the Ghost Army, pretty dope.
Ghost Army's always cool. Love a good Ghost Army.
Yeah. You never expect the ghosts to be fighting on the good guys but
I feel like I remember
because
I remember
stereotypes.
The video game coming out before I'd seen the movie, and not knowing the books. I
remember playing the ghost level of the
game.
Not
Not knowing the books, it was like all of a sudden I was like, there's ghosts all of a sudden? Like, what the hell is happening in this universe? Like, we got elves and dwarves and fire monsters, but now we just got ghosts too, and they're a problem?
Yeah.
And they just kill you? That's worse.
They must fulfill their oath.
Yeah, but they just walk through you and just kill you, and you're dead.
Molly walked.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't do much.
Pretty dope. Yeah, there's another thing that kind of stuck with me and kind of some of my early high school friend group is when the beacons are lit.
Oh, it's just
Yo, the beacons
five
are
and a
dope
half
too.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
first of all, I know where those beacons are going to be
Yep,
lit on screen.
Yep. I've got it
Yeah, you
burned into
can
my memory now.
kind of spot them a little bit. Even I
But
was able to kind of suss it out, but
there we used to be like, yo, like, are we hanging out today? Or you'd be
Mm.
like maybe somebody like needed something and you'd send like a picture of
of the
Aragorn
beacons.
saying the beacons are lit, and then somebody would send another picture of Theoden saying then Rohan will answer. It's like just our way of being like,
That's
yo, like I need my boys right now. I'd be like, I'm on the way.
I love that.
Character design.
And obviously you get to keep your rivalry between Legolas and Gimli
Also great.
with their kill count, which is always fun.
Yeah.
I was just gonna go over the costuming and like character design. I love how like it's very distinct. You'll always know who's from Rohan, who's from Gondor, who's from
Right.
around.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Wish there was elves. More elves. Elves come to the rescue in the first one. Nothing
the second.
here. Kind of. And the second one. Kind of disappointed. But I get it. Elves got their own thing going on. They're going to like heaven or something. I still really don't understand what that is, but
It's their homeland.
yeah. Well,
It's where they originated from.
I should explain it better.
Yeah, they do a much better job of that in the TV series, The Rings of Power.
Do they? Okay, that's good.
Yeah, and then if you read some of the books, you definitely get
I'm sure, yeah. Sure
a
they go
lot more
all in on
detail,
the books.
especially the Silmarillion as well.
The other thing that's not entirely clear to me is why that elf lady that he loves, why she's dying.
Eowyn.
I mean, I kind of, yeah. She said what my understanding was because she has decided not to go to the homeland. She's
Correct.
like relinquished her immortality, but then it also is like Sauron's also taking it from her somehow. I don't.
So if they don't return at some point,
Yeah.
they will die.
Okay.
But yeah, she essentially relinquishes her immortality to have a life with Aragorn.
I see.
Because she also has the ability to basically kind of have visions and see in the future.
Mhm.
So in the second one, I think it's the second or first one, I can't remember. She actually sees a vision of a kid, and it's her and Aragorn's kid. So basically, instead of having to go be immortal with her dad, and the rest of their kind, she basically says like, "No, I'm good. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I
Got
want
all
to have
that.
a kid in the family."
Yeah, got all that. I just wasn't sure how Sauron was killing her. Didn't really seem.
It's kind of just in general, he's a dark character and he wants to obviously promote darkness. So
Sure.
elves basically live off like a tree.
Love trees.
That has
Big
light.
tree fans on this podcast.
And so the more evil that's in the world, he drains the light from the world. So that basically kills
Gotcha.
her effectively.
So that gotcha. That was just draining her too much. I see. And then, sorry, still on that note, his amulet that we see like hit the ground a bajillion times. I'm assuming that she gave him that to help him live longer too, right?
He is actually part of a bloodline known as the
he's
Dunedain.
naturally yeah, I remember that part. But then
Yep.
she gave him that. What does that thing do then?
That's basically just kind of like that's kind of like her way of showing him that she has his heart and she's giving up her immortality for him.
I see.
It doesn't really do anything as far as like her powers or anything like that.
That's the vibe I kept getting. They kept showing it crashing. I was like, did he drop the thing and now she's dying? Is it his fault? I don't know. Like, but damn, this guy's going through it.
He does go through it. I think everybody goes through it in this.
Everybody, yeah.
Which is so cool because like throughout the three movies, you just see a massive character arc for a majority of the characters, which is really cool because it's again one of those things that like
shit.
It's
Go ahead, go ahead.
long. All 3 movies are long, but again, like there's purpose behind every single minute.
Right. No, you can definitely tell the intent. The intent's definitely there. What was I just about to say? Oh, yeah, as you said, everyone goes through it. I was like, damn, like Gandalf went to the afterlife and came back. Like he's definitely gone through it
Facts.
after 3 movies. Yeah. I like his little explanation to Pip where he's just like, it's not the end. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah, it's another one of life's journeys. I always love that little speech. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Gollum's still good in this one. I think I prefer Gollum / Smeagol in Two Towers. I think he's a little bit more kind of complex in that one.
It's definitely
kinda see
the
him battling back and forth, and now he's kind of all Gollum in this one.
Yeah, you definitely get to see the split personalities, and you really get to see Andy Serkis kind of accentuate both of those characters,
Right,
which is
right.
pretty cool.
Yeah, and seeing the OG Smeagol before. If you hear all those disconnects, by the way, Blake's Discord crashed essentially, so that is what he's dealing with.
Yeah, we're trying to get Blake back on board here. Should we pause for a second? What's your plan, folks?
We can pause.
Pause for the cause.
Pause for the cars.
All right, we're back. So is Blake. Thank God.
We got him, folks.
We got him. We're just gonna go ahead. I think we've pretty much said. Is there anything else we wanna talk about here? As Tyler just mentioned, he could talk about this for days, but I don't know. There's a lot in this movie, but there's like not a lot of things I feel like I can like speak directly on just because so much happens. But I think we hit all the highlights.
Favorite characters, you mentioned that earlier. What do you want to go with for your favorite?
Oh
character?
yeah. Still probably Legolas, but Aragorn really grows on me in this one. I'm glad he turns his life around and becomes king again. You know.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Aragorn for my boy.
Aragorn's pretty dope. But Samwise Gamgee, definitely number 2. Justice for Samwise.
Yeah, I don't know who my favorite character, but I probably Aragorn. My favorite scene in this movie, though, is the one where Aragorn becomes like king again or something of that nature, and like all the
At the
hobbits
end.
bow to him. Yeah. And then he's kind of like, like we don't really got to do that. You know what I mean? Like that's just something where you're like, that's a
You
very
bow to no one.
leader, of something, or someone to kind of hold on to, like that dignity and whatnot. So that was actually really cool to kind of see that where hobbits have been like basically like shitted on for this entire series. So I did like to see that.
Yeah, even in this movie, they are constantly you can't fight.
Right.
But like you guys need every sword, and I'm saying I'll fight. Nah, you can't fight. You're
For
good.
sure.
Just like damn, like let a man fight. All right. Well, I think we're gonna go ahead and put this up on the entropy list. Welcome back, all the listeners who skipped over the spoilers segment. The entropy list, for those of you who do not know, is our big list of all the movies we have reviewed, all on one giant list, compared to one another. It's essentially how we rate our movies. If you want a reference list for yourself, you can check that episode description where it is linked to my Letterboxd. This is gonna be an interesting one. I think we're all pretty split on where we have it in relation to the other ones.
Yeah, this will be interesting. I think. All right, I got mine. I'm putting mine.
Go ahead.
13.
Go ahead.
Ooh.
13.
So is that above Whiplash?
Yeah, I'm putting it above Whiplash, below Your Name. And like that is me. Like my heart wants to put this higher, but I'm trying to
do what you want, man.
No, I'm trying to. I think like film brain is taking over. My heart would put this higher, but my film brain is taking over and is rationalizing this out a little bit. But
I mean, Film Brain can rationalize, but this thing did win how many Oscars? 9?
A bunch. A bunch.
Eight.
Yeah.
And it does have the highest rating on IMDb.
This is
Listen to
true.
Yeah,
your
but-
heart.
This is true.
Yeah, listen to your Film Brain. Like, like you can do that if you want.
Actually, okay. I will compensate a little bit more or compromise. Compensate. Jesus.
Compensate.
I'm going
Easy, bud.
I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm cracking top 10. I'm going at number 10, below Get Out, above Inception, and that's where I'm putting. I can't put it
Okay.
above Jurassic Park. As much as I love this movie, can't put it above
Mm.
Jurassic Park. And
That's your hard cap.
yeah, and I think Get Out's that kind of like, just that turning point again for me in some ways too. I think that's gonna be a big step in a lot of time. So I think Inception's that other spectacle movie, but I think for me
Right,
this
right.
one is a cut above. So I will go at number 10, Inception.
Number 10. All right. Blake?
Ooh, certainly not that high, fellas, as I wasn't that high on either of the first two in this trilogy. With context, right? I mean, they were ranked they were ranked pretty high.
True.
I do like this more than the first one. However, the first one is actually ranked higher than the second one. So I don't think I can really go ahead and do it with that. And the first one was ranked at 18. So
Fair enough.
kind of go ahead and rank this off BlakeHolder's entropy list. I'm rolling. It's tough, guys, because like I like the film, right? And then I see like, I mean, fuck, dude. I like John Wick 4 that we just watched. And like, do I like this over John Wick 4? No. Will I watch this before I watch John Wick 4? Probably not. Will I ever watch this film again? Probably not. Right. So then like I'm kind of like battling those intrinsic thoughts.
I can't wait until your kid is just a huge fantasy and superhero movie fan.
Oh my God. Dude, can you imagine? Can you imagine? I think I'm gonna have to. I'll be realistic here. I'll compensate. I'll do 28.
28's respectable.
28. Where's that at? 28. So below.
Judas and the Black Messiah.
That is respectable. Below
Yeah,
Judas.
so between
or, sorry,
Starship
below
Troopers
Starship
and Judas
and
and
above
Black
Judas.
Messiah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's very respectable.
Yeah, so better than Spider-Man, who we've all kind of been on record saying I think that was kind of a prisoner of the moment.
No, that movie's the
Voting
greatest
thing.
movie of all
Outside
time.
of Adam.
I cried. I still cry.
For sure. But yeah, that's where I'm lying. So that's above Kill Bill. It's above Training Day. It's above Scream. A lot of movies I hold dear to my heart. So
That is very generous. Of you, I'm not saying that's like a overly generous ranking. I'm just saying
Yeah,
that
I
it's
gotcha.
over Scream. That I didn't realize that right away. So it is very very generous for a BlakeHolder ranking. Tyler, number 1,
Obviously,
2, 3.
I
Really
had
tough
the
hat.
first one at number 1. And it's currently sitting at 18, and the Two Towers is sitting at 20. I don't obviously want to put them above that. I know they're probably not going to go above those once we work out the math on there. But as far as like what's on here now from like a top 20 standpoint, man, this thing's like a 5er, bro.
tough. 5.
This thing's so high for me.
Fair enough. So you're going.
I'm probably gonna
above
drop it down a
Hands, below
little
Hereditary?
bit. I'm gonna drop it a little bit. I'm probably gonna put it just slightly above where Nathaniel is. I'm gonna put it at number 9. I'm gonna put it below Jurassic Park, but above Get Out.
Okay,
Respectable.
fair.
But I think this is for sure gonna. I don't think it's gonna break the top 10 because I don't think Adam's gonna be super high on it either. I think he's probably gonna be somewhere down where you're at, Blake. But yeah, as far as what this movie's capable of and what it's done, all 3 of these for that matter, I think that's a good spot for it for me.
Fair enough. I guess that leaves my ranking, right? You know, I have a hard time doing this because I like it more than Fellowship and Two Towers, but they're both that's 18 and 19 on the list. And then I look at like Back to the Future, John Wick, and the Batman. But I think I'm gonna listen to my film brain a little bit and just kind of ignore the fact that those are down there, and acknowledge the wonkiness of the Entropy list. I'm gonna go 17.
Ooh.
Weren't expecting that.
17.
No, it's a little higher.
I
than,
wasn't. I wasn't.
where I probably thought you were, but I thought you were probably going to be somewhere down. I thought for sure your threshold would be Back to the Future again.
Yeah, it should
That's
be.
what I was thinking mentally.
It really should be, but I think there are just too many things above Back to the Future that I like this more than.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's be
I-
honest.
you
This
know.
this fucking shit's on the Batman.
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah,
Terminator
bit of
2
a Batman.
Judgment Day is obviously iconic.
It's a tough one, but I
Dune-
still like this one better than that one.
Yeah. For sure. From a film, like from an overall film standpoint, 110%. And just obviously what everything like as far as Terminator goes, Terminator 2 is the best one. Nobody really thinks about all the other ones.
Sure.
T2 is like top notch as far as Terminator goes. As far as like this entire trilogy goes, like I said, all of these are fucking awesome.
Yeah,
I agree.
And then Dune, I'm telling you, people are sleeping on Dune. I think we slept on Dune like when we first reviewed it. I think Dune, by the time they're done, this thing's it's gonna be up there for sure.
I believe you. I just don't think we're gonna finish the Dune trilogy and say number one's the best one.
No, I hope we don't.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree.
I don't. Yeah, I really don't see
Yeah.
that being the case, because if we do end the Dune trilogy and we do say number one is the best one, we're in trouble.
Yeah, I mean,
We're
like
in
it's again,
trouble.
it's these and like T2. These are in a very rare category where you can say that these, for most people, that these progressively got better from the first
Sure.
one.
I think that's pretty fair.
Whereas like some movies, you get to like the sequel and you're like, man, that fucking sucked.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
While averaging all of our rankings out, we do get an even score of 16, which kills me. I wish I'd put it a couple lower, because that puts it above 9 Days, the one film that I kind of did.
You're killing
kinda
us,
did
Adam.
Threshold.
You're killing us in the algorithm.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But
Crushed
16,
in
it's
my
locked in there.
algorithm.
It's going to be above 9 Days and below The Lighthouse. It's bad luck to kill a seabird. I think I'm gonna just start saying that randomly and see like if I can get people to like look at me weird, like just in line at Starbucks.
I
or
reckon
something.
that'll probably happen if you go around saying that.
Yeah.
I think
You,
so.
you might
too.
get the one or two few people who know
Right,
exactly
and
what it's
that's
from,
that
though,
that's
and they'll
my
just
that's
laugh
my
with it.
Samwise Gamgee's test.
For sure.
Is like, do you know that quote? All right, cool. You can carry me home from the bar then, I guess. I mean, that's how that works.
I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
Well, that
Good
that is how
strat.
it works. Yes, yeah. Well, regardless, that's gonna do it for the review segment here. For Return of the King. Our next review is kind of a left turn. It's the Super Mario Bros. Movie.
No, it's the other great trilogy
Bro.
of our time.
What'd you say?
So it's the other great trilogy of our time, you know.
The Super Mario Bros. Movie?
Well, it's the 80s Super Mario. Whoa, okay. 80s Super Mario, and then this Super Mario, and then the next Super Mario movie will be the
Sure,
finish off the
I see what you're
trilogy.
saying now.
Yeah.
It took me a second to catch up there. I mean, I could see that happening. I'm pretty excited for this. I'm not gonna lie.
Tyler, will you be rewatching the 1980 Super Mario for this week's?
I mean, it's not a bad idea.
It isn't though. It kind of is.
Have you ever seen it?
No, but I've heard it's trash, and I've seen clips from it, and it does look
It's
pretty trash.
it's one of those movies where it's so bad you just enjoy watching it.
Sure.
I've actually never seen that.
You
assume it's fucking
should.
terrible.
I was gonna say, Blake, you're displaying more Super Mario memorabilia right now than I think I ever gave
Than
you
you would've
credit.
thought?
Yeah, credit for owning. Yeah.
Fair.
For the audio listeners, that's Blake holding up a piranha plant plushie.
No, you missed.
Yeah,
He
I've
had a
got,
POW block earlier too, or a want block.
Yep, I've got the
Oh,
want block,
yeah,
I've got the
I know you
piranha
have that
plant,
one.
and I've got the banana peel.
I was about to say, I know you have the banana peel. Don't you? No.
Was a huge Mario Kart Double Dash guy on GameCube.
Ooh, Double
That was like
Dash.
the epitome of my childhood, bro. Like,
Oh man, Double Dash. I haven't thought about that in a long time.
great game.
Fantastic game.
S tier
Fantastic.
video game.
S tier
GameCube,
for
absolutely.
sure. Oh, I don't think many people could argue that. It's anything below S. I was gonna say I thought you had the Yoshi egg as well, but I remember that's at Nathaniel's place.
I think that's Nathaniel.
It is indeed.
Yeah, that's at HQ. Is that yours or is that Waz's?
That is Waz's.
Yeah. He's always got those fun little video game like plushies and stuff. I'm jealous of your this is another tangent. It will end here, but I'm jealous of your Evangelion figurines. I kind of want to find some of my own.
Ah, well, they are around and they're fun to put together for sure.
Ooh, you built them. Oh, I remember you. Yeah, I remember you saying that.
Me and
their
Ty,
model.
yeah, me and Ty built one of them, and then the other one's a Funko.
Yeah. I wonder if I could find that Funko anywhere.
Mine was on
Anyway,
Amazon.
join us next week for our review of Super Mario Bros. The movie, I think it's called, or no, it's the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Excuse me. Yeah, we'll be doing that. Nathaniel, do we have a 5-star review by chance?
We do not have a 5-star review, but if you want to give us a 5-star review,
What a shame.
In app, it's very simple. You can say whatever you want, and we'll read it out here. It does help us show up in the old algorithms. So that's how we like to grow, folks.
You know those AIs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They like those 5-star reviews. You know, ChatGPT. He's all about them.
If perhaps.
Sorry, they. We don't know ChatGPT's gender, so they are all about him.
This is true.
Yes.
If you want to share the podcast with a friend, a Dark Lord, a guy on the battlefield, you're out there, you're fired up. Your leader just gave you the all-time best speech ever, and you have a moment with your enemy. You say, "Hey, man, let me just grab the phone real quick. Just quick download, Back Row Banter, and then let's get back to it." And that's all.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, folks. So help us grow.
It really is.
Help us be out there. We like doing this. We like talking about movies. So yeah, Adam.
Yeah, that's pretty easy there. I have not checked the email. I'll do that as I plug our email. Because, of course, if you want to send us any messages, you can do so by sending us an email to backrowbanterpod@gmail.com. Also, following us on Twitter @banterrow helps us out quite a bit. Doing so on Instagram. What are we on Instagram? Just Back Row Banter?
Yes, sir. Back Row Banter Pod.
Yes. And then our YouTube is just Back Row Banter. No email this week, but send one in. You could be like Papa Schwartz, who got one read out last week. As I'm looking at the email, though, I'm reminded that we did hit a pretty big milestone of 10,000 downloads.
I did see
week.
that.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool to see. I don't know how much that is really spread across all of our episodes, and that doesn't include YouTube. That's just the Buzzsprout stats from all the audio, like Apple Podcasts and Spotify downloads. But really cool to see. Thank you all for listening. If you're 141 of those downloads or one, doesn't really matter. We appreciate you listening, and we hope to continue to hit more fun milestones just like that one. Hopefully quicker too. If you want to help us get there quicker, you could share the podcast, share with a friend, a family member, or as Nathaniel said, an enemy orc or something. Just take out his little Mordor phone, and then share it with Sauron, and like Sauron, maybe he can like broadcast it. I don't know how that works.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. I don't know if we really want to be endorsed by Sauron, but
he's got
at
a
least we
wide
get
listener
wider
base.
audience.
Yeah.
So
Built-in audience. This is what we need.
exactly. BlakeHolder, where can the people find you at, my man?
Letterboxd, BlakeHolder. I'll be on there logging some things for an amount of 5 stars, which I do feel like is the best rating metric for films is 5 stars opposed to the 1 to 10 scale. Another side thing I do,
ranking all of the movies you watch on like
on
one
entry list.
Yeah, I
You know
mean
what?
any list. I don't know.
Second
What entry
Entry
list.
list is definitely number 1.
Sure.
Good catch. Side note, though, is something I did want to bring up. I was talking to Nathaniel about it at the store this past week, though. My dad shot me a phone call, and he watched Interstellar for the first time last week.
Ooh,
nice.
Huge sci-fi guy, though, as well. So, like, really big on Star Trek. I think I was telling you guys about that. But nonetheless,
Yeah.
he told me that that is now his favorite sci-fi film of all time.
Wow. That's
After one watch, and that's
Crazy.
a pretty
Just
big
after one watch.
catalog. Star Wars,
Yeah, I
Star
was about to
Trek,
say, that's-
huge.
I was to say,
huge on those
he's
things.
been around the block, so
Yeah.
to say that that's his favorite, I mean,
That's
not to say that it's not
I'm on.
worthy.
Yeah, it was a quick turnaround too. I tried to talk him off the ledge, but he was like, I don't know, man. So, yeah, just kind of wanted to share that one, and yeah, that's it. We'll pass it to we'll go to Ty.
We should add Interstellar to the short list. It's a good
I'm
one.
always
not on
down.
the short list.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, those aren't waves.
Always down.
I haven't seen it since. I don't
Those
think I've
aren't
seen it
mountains.
since theaters when I was like 14.
Those are mountains.
Wow.
Oh man, dude, that you just like make me sound old sometimes when you say stuff like that. I'll throw it on here right now.
Twitch.tv/ultrabajo87, and then Instagram, Letterboxd, and Twitter are all Tyler Vidalis, VID ALES. Nathaniel.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitch and Letterboxd. Twitch and Letterboxd. Twitter and Letterboxd. That's what I was thinking of. At @and, you can find me on Instagram. Nathaniel G92. Sandpiper Tapes, the Smiley Podcast. Adam, get us out of here.
Yeah, I am on Twitter at Aish24, on Letterboxd at Aish, and on Twitch. Coming back pretty soon with that. That's twitch.tv/Aish, AYYSH. I think that's going to do it for episode 141, a palindrome episode. We love it.
Ooh.
You don't get too many of those, only once every like 11 eps. So we got to cherish it while we have it. But that's going to, or 10 eps? I don't know. Whatever, math. I think that's going to do it here. Join us for our review of the Super Mario Bros. Movie next week. We'll be RB.
Be excellent to each other, everyone, and we will be RB.
Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate everything that you can and will do to help us grow. And you better do something to help us grow because we appreciate it, like I said. And just check on your friends and just be kind to one another, and we'll be RB.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for the support as always. We wouldn't be able to continue this podcast if it wasn't for you, wherever you are located. As we always say, as long as you're at least doing one thing you love every day, then you're doing it the correct way. So we'll be RB.
America. Ready for another lesson.
Quick update for Adam. I know in the college basketball tip, that bracket I had for work with all of finance,
Yeah.
I did not win. In fact, I held the lead after the first like 2 rounds. I was
Oh,
rolling.
really?
Looked really good. No, dude.
Damn.
No.
I did not do well this year at all. I don't think I had a single team in the Elite Eight. I think I was done after the Sweet 16.
Yeah,
Which just sucks because it's like now I got to wait a year to try again. You only get one attempt a year to have a decent bracket.
Is it an actual like general public news story, or is it just my weird little Twitter niche? This whole ladies basketball like drama.
No, I think
No, I
it's
think
a
that's a
pretty big
real-
deal.
it's a
Yeah,
real news story.
Caitlin Clark was blowing it up. I mean, I was watching the game. Those refs sucked. Like it wasn't even just like the technical foul that you saw. Like it was everything. They were just calling the most random shit.
I haven't
I
heard
agree.
anything about that shit. I've just been hearing the John Cena gesture. That's the only thing that I've been
Oh,
hearing
that
about.
was also out of nowhere as well. As far as I'm
Yeah.
concerned, I didn't see Iowa or Caitlin Clark shit talking LSU at all, and I think it was kind of not very classy to like do that. I mean, I get it if it was like something where like they were talking smack or they had a rivalry, but they're not even in the same conference. And they, as far as I know, she didn't really like talk any shit, and seems like she's a pretty good sport. I mean, on the court she's competitive and maybe not a good sport on the court, but like off the court, as soon as the game's over, I don't think anyone really has an issue with her unless she's got an issue with you.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What I had heard too wasn't she doing the same thing like a week before?
I mean,
She
yeah,
was,
so-
but that was more of like a rivalry thing, or
Oh.
I think it was like a
you're in
little
a
bit
fucking
more.
championship game. I don't know. Anything on the court goes, in my opinion. At that point, like,
Yeah,
I
right.
like-
agree.
I agree. She did the John
It
Cena
was
thing, I
just
guess.
she
wasn't
like
as
kept
bad.
doing it. It wasn't like one time, which I would understand. It was like for the last like 2 minutes of the game when they knew they were gonna win, she would just like go in her face and start doing it. Like she did it like
Yeah.
3 or 4
I don't
times,
know, man.
Yeah,
which is just obnoxious in my opinion.
I guess I'm also from the cloth in athletics, and just like you just always learn, like, all right, man, like that's part of sports, man. If you don't want that to happen,
Right.
you win the game.
Yeah, I'm kind
You
of
know
with
what I
you.
mean?
I'm
Like,
with you there
that's
too.
kind of
No,
like
And they were
for
getting
sure.
like
Like, I
blown
don't
out
think-
too. Like it wasn't like 110 to like 80 or some shit like
yeah, they
that.
got blown out. Exactly.
Like,
That's my
Yeah.
thing.
At
That's
that
part of
point,
sports, man.
they
If you don't
talk
wanna
their
get
shit,
taunted,
man.
Win the game.
Yeah.
No, again, I think they can talk shit all they want, but like there wasn't, again, from what I saw or heard.
Right, yeah, sorry,
there just wasn't
you've
a
been
lot
kind
of
of-
disrespect there to warrant that much trash
Yeah.
talk.
I was asking that question, and you kind of got put in the position of having to defend that, which was a position you already said wasn't actually your position, anyways. So that was sorry about
Yeah,
that.
I mean, no, you're good. You're good. I know. I
Yeah,
like
it's a real
genuinely
news
do
story
think-
though. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do
okay.
think that
crazy
was
in my opinion.
a little obnoxious. But I mean, obviously, do what you want. You won, but in my opinion, doing it that many times and taunting her that much, like she like follows her around the court doing it. It's just like
That's kind of funny.
You won. Do it once. Get over it. Like,
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's also a sport I care nothing about too. So like, if it was like my sport too, I'd be like a little bit more assed up maybe. Like I remember, but then again, people's opinions change. I remember like 4 or 5 years ago, the Dodgers won, like they clinched a champion or a playoff berth at the Diamondback Stadium, and they like went and celebrated by went and jumping in the pool. And like everyone
Oh,
was kind of
wow.
pissed
Okay.
off to begin
Yeah.
with, and I was kind of like, I was of that camp too. I was like, man, that's kind of disrespectful for off. But then at the same time,
Right.
they're like, hey man, they won. Like,
they did. Yeah.
Yeah. I
like-
mean, I get it. I definitely get it. Like, I was never a person to really talk a lot of shit playing sports.
Me either,
So, I mean,
yeah.
everybody has their own things. Like, I never really said anything, but
yeah,
like, I don't know. I couldn't get mad if someone was talking shit and like they're
I would
dominating
say
me.
stuff to hype myself up, but I would never like taunt.
no, well, that's not how I would play either. But like at the same time, if you have one of those shit talkers on your team, like you kind of love to have them around.
That's
too.
awesome. Exactly.
it's
That's like the
yeah.
it's like the Draymond Green. Like Draymond Green is like an asshole to play against, but the best teammate to have.
Right, right.
Yeah, right.
You know, like yeah. Double-edged sword. I hear it too for sure. No one wants to play against Draymond Green, but like, am I okay with Draymond Green talking shit? Unfortunately, getting dirty hits after plays and stuff like that. I mean, like, if he's on my team, it is what it is.
Right,
You
right.
know, you gotta. At that point, if you're the opponent, like that's part of the game. You have to be able to move around.
Well, life update for me, and this ties in as well too, because we're talking sports right now. This is the back row locker room for the boys. I've developed a worrying new addiction to MMA podcasts, where
Oh, no.
I'm up to 3 a week now of just the that come in on the weekly basis.
3 possible. Oh my god.
Um,
Dude, I can barely do like one.
but one I get through podcasts though. I think I'm
Yeah,
up to like a
yeah.
rotation of
I
like
mean-
8 a week now or something like that.
Yeah, I think I got 6 in my.
I haven't been
bucket, just
going to
give
the
me
gym
the
as
work.
much, but that's where I was knocking out most of my podcasts. I also don't drive that much when I'm at school, so
Fair
that's the
enough,
other
yeah.
thing too.
I've
I listen to
also
'em on my walks to class, but they're usually so short that I just like playing music anyway.
I've also just ruined my brain enough to the point that I can't have, pure silence unless I'm going to sleep at this point. So I just
Same.
Yep.
get
Me
through
too.
shit in the
Same.
background. But yeah, one of them, what I was getting around to was these 2 guys that just happened to weirdly line up with my sensibilities, where they're both like sports journalists that started covering MMA in its early days, kind of thing. But now they're kind of a little bit over the hill, and they're like they've gone back to school and gotten like master's degrees or masters in fine arts for writing and stuff like that. One of them has a book out and other stuff like that. So they have this podcast, but one of them, one of the guys, his name is Chad Dundas, and his martial art that he's developed over the years is Dundaso, which is just you always cheat. until the ref tells you
Okay.
not to cheat. And
Okay.
and I think like
Viable tactic. I
like-
hate to say it, but a viable tactic.
And they had a guy on recently who was his family came from race car drivers. They've all been involved in motorsport in some ways. They were like either in Mexico City, they were either like folks that had like the racetrack, or they were mechanics at the racetracks, or like they had a couple drivers in the families. And now this guy is also a journalist. But he said one of the famous things in race car circuits is they come up to you and they say, "This is the rule book. It bends." And then they just like hand you the paperback copy of the rule book and wiggle it in front of you and like,
Jeez.
the rule book bends. Like that's how it goes. And again, it's that like it's not how I would elect to play probably, but it's a viable way of playing, you know?
Absolutely. Even so, that's just funny because this is what I just said to myself playing Mortal Kombat, waiting for the boys to kind of jump on here. I was playing somebody, and I don't want to say it's like cheating, but just in terms of just like spamming the entire one move the entire time.
Oh, sure.
And I was like, I hate how viable this is. And he beat me. And like, I was so frustrated with it, but I'm like, but at the same time, it's a viable tactic. Will I go and play the game and win that way? Probably not. I'd like to try to, figure
Go
out when
somewhere
I'm
else.
plus frames and things of that nature. But other
Right.
people are like, I'm just going to spam the entire time. And like, if you can't beat it, oh well. And frustrating as hell. I was swearing at my fucking monitor. So I feel it. But
Yeah.
But that's something too, like
There's
even
always
in that
negative
situation,
stuff.
like wouldn't a balanced game, like that's kind of a matchup specific thing too. Like there'll be some certain character that'll have one move that you could just spam against that guy too, and it would like break his rhythm or something like that. I'm saying this to you as you're chewing. I'm sorry, I'm not paying attention to video mode.